Absolutely. I think this is a situation that we all face. But if I may, I think this is at some point in the future. At some point in the future when we have many, many vehicles providing a regulated service to cities and communities. Where we start is somewhere different. We slowly start and build. We start to build in cooperation with our UTM colleagues, air corridors, roads in the sky, predefined routes where services will be point to point and always pre-scheduled, I would say. And we also have to remember that we share the airspace not only with eVTOLs, but different kind of flying vehicles. So there is the lower airspace, there is the mid airspace, which is controlled by UTM, and of course ATM for the higher airspace, where our classic vehicles are operating today. So the safe integration of all of these corridors is absolutely essential.
So in autonomous operations, you should consider it that the aircraft will depart from what we call vertiports. And in part of the vertiports and check-in, of course, we will have a weight estimation of the passenger and the luggage, combined also with the architecture of the aircraft, which is not very sensitive to weight and balance. So it will be a combination of both.
Autonomy is a topic that comes up a lot, and autonomy we can put into two different segments. There's a technology element of autonomy. At Airbus, we're building on technology across all of our platforms, whether they are eVTOLs, helicopters, right up to our corporate jets and large airliners. And autonomy is a project we work on under Vertex, so really building the bricks and testing them across all of our products. But autonomy also is about public acceptance and social acceptance. The technology challenge is one element of it, but it takes an entire ecosystem, urban regulators, developers, infrastructure players, and absolutely the community to say, when are we ready to see autonomous flight, and when are we as individuals ready to board autonomous flying vehicles? So I would say both elements we work on independently and together at Airbus.
It's a very interesting question. Piloting helicopter requires very high skills on controlling the attitude of the aircraft and to transition in mastering the trajectory and insertion into traffic. A UAM vehicle like the City Airbus Next Generation is featuring advanced flight controls, so the pilot will not take care of controlling the aircraft, but more on giving the trajectory insertion into traffic. So compared to an helicopter, those aircraft are much more easier to fly than classical helicopters. So we can consider that the helicopter pilot with a high level of skills can transition to a UAM vehicle, but also other type of pilots.
Definitely, depending on the route and the service. But what's more important for us is really where we land. So today we will use existing heliports and helipads. And why is this? Because they're already available, and when we think of the missions that these aircraft will deliver, whether it's landing on top of a hospital for emergency services, or corporate shuttles, or airport to downtown shuttles, we want to use the existing infrastructure to really start the service. Then we work with our partners, urban planners, infrastructure players, to build vertiports and plan new routes, really to grow and scale the service for any city. This is our approach.
So thank you, it's a very interesting question. Hybridization, electrification of helicopters and electrical VTOLs are two completely different approaches. eVTOLs are designed to be able to fly above cities. Today, helicopters are flying into the cities on dedicated routes. The reason why we are using eVTOLs, we are using the advantage of distributed electrical propulsion to be able to reconfigure the aircraft. Electrification, hybridization of helicopters is something where Airbus Helicopters is strongly investing from the sustainability standpoint to reduce carbon footprint. But the two different types of aircraft are two different architectures for different missions.
If we think of the tipping point, a point in time in the near future where UAM and eVTOLs will be part of the mobility ecosystem, really an additional layer to what is existing today, an alternative that anyone can access. What's important is where we start to build, where we start to develop with the communities on specific services and missions where they see a value. In some communities, this will be emergency medical services. In others, it will be corporate shuttles, airport to downtown shuttles, specific missions to be able to reach areas which are not accessible today. In ecotourism, we also see missions where there is no need for infrastructure, where people can access and experience parts of different lands that really are not accessible today in the quietest, most zero emission, zero noise way possible.
So thank you for this question. Electrification and competency around electrification, electrical systems, high voltage, is today a challenge for the whole industry, not only for aeronautics, aviations, also for car manufacturing and so on. So there is a real need of new competencies in this field. Airbus is addressing it in a very diverse way. We are developing competencies of internal persons, employees, engineers, testers, also as people in charge of manufacturing the aircraft. We are partnering with universities and also trying to be attractive on the job market for those very particular competencies. I would like to mention also that we have created a startup-like company based in the south of Germany in Munich, exactly to be attractive for those type of profiles.